U.S. President Barack Obama's endorsement of a long-standing Palestinian demand on the borders of their future state sets the stage for what could be a tense meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday. Netanyahu immediately rejected Obama's endorsement, touching off a behind-the-scenes war of words between the two leaders. Netanyahu, who has had strained relations with Obama, headed for Washington, saying the president's vision of a Palestinian state on the borders of 1967 as part of his vision for an elusive U.S. brokered peace deal could leave Israel indefensible. The White House talks had never been expected to yield any significant progress to revive long-stalled peace talks, but now that prospect seemed dimmer than ever. Obama, in a policy speech on Thursday on the Arab Spring uprisings across the Middle East, laid down his clearest markers yet on the compromises Israel and the Palestinians must make for resolving their decades-old conflict. His position essentially embraces the Palestinian view that the state they seek in the West Bank and Gaza should largely be drawn along the lines that existed before the 1967 war, in which Israel captured those territories and East Jerusalem. Obama said Thursday the United States must change its policy or face a deepening rift with the Arab world, pledging to promote reform across a region hit by 6 months of protests. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas on Thursday called an emergency meeting of the PA leadership to discuss U.S. President Barack Obama's speech on peace in the Middle East, an official in Ramallah said. Abbas has also decided to hold urgent consultations with a number of Arab leaders on the speech, the official said. PLO Executive Committee member Saeb Erekat said that Abbas remained committed to fulfilling all Palestinian obligations in accordance with international agreements, especially the Roadmap Plan and the 2002 Arab Peace Initiative. Erekat said that the PA was hoping the Israeli government would fulfill its obligations to give the peace process the chance it deserves. He added that Abbas appreciated Obama's efforts to resume the peace talks between the Palestinians and Israel and maintained hopes of reaching a solution on the core issues according to an agreeable timetable. Two things should pop out at you. One, this endorsement of a Palestinian state along pre-1967 borders is an attempt to reach out to the Arab world at the expense of Israel. This declaration has been a long time coming, now placing the two most influential international players on the side of the UN Security Council, the United States and the European Union. This is very bad news for Israel and will force them to rebel against U.S. wishes, bringing on UN sanctions, the loss of U.S. military aid, and long-standing U.S. international support. But frankly, I believe Israel will be forced to comply with international wishes, but not without promises of major U.S. and EU security support. The second thing that caught my attention was PLO Executive Committee member Saeb Erekat's statement that his hope was of reaching a solution on the core issues according to an agreed timetable. This should have raised a prophetic red flag. Daniel 9:27 states that the coming peace accord the Antichrist will bring will be played out over a 7-year time period. I suspect many of the core issues will be phased in over 7 years, with the division of Jerusalem scheduled toward the end. In other developments, on the eve of Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to Washington, the State Department issued a bland announcement of a visit to the region by U.S. Deputy Secretary of State James Steinberg, in which it distinguished between Israel, Jerusalem, and the West Bank. The wording, however, led some to wonder, isn't Jerusalem inside Israel, and does this odd wording presage a subtle change of U.S. policy? A spokesman at the embassy in Tel Aviv, however, downplayed fears that this wording was an OPEC signal of a change of U.S. position on Jerusalem. He denied any overarching significance in the wording, saying that in a region where there is a great sensitivity to words, the U.S. was trying to be a fair interlocutor. As we move toward September, the U.S. looks to be moving toward a full endorsement and eventual UN recognition of a Palestinian state within pre-1967 borders. Although U.S. President Barack Obama has thus far pulled up short of endorsing a Palestinian unilateral move, that may become a U.S. bargaining chip to force Israel to halt all settlement building and to get back to the negotiation table. This is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.